Welcome to another episode of That's What They Said, a podcast where we question the questionable lyrics of your favorite songs. Sarina and Scott Spinelli with you, talking What They Really Want by DMX featuring Cisco.
The question, of course, being who is the they in this case? No one's quite sure. I think Mel Gibson has an answer, but we're not 100% sure. These two songs, fun fact, this song was going to be the lead single on the Mel Gibson movie. Did you know that?
No, was it really?
That's not.
I didn't think it was. Imagine Mel Gibson
in the video. In that video.
Rom-com.
Or just Mel Gibson just like in that video, there's so much denim. Like heavy denim, right?
Yes.
Like Cisco just doing this.
Yes.
Like the Running Man, but like this very like jagged, like rigid Running Man with a almost like a pair.
Well, he
of
can't
jeans.
move.
Yeah, well, he had like the thickest jeans on that were like turned inside out almost,
Mm-hmm.
and he was cut. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
That's what these women want.
That's what they want.
A cut up Cisco running around cutting the dance floor.
Yeah.
No, what these women want, a good relationship, a good laugh, maybe to refer to as a woman rather than in the form of a bitch, but that's here nor there. Released as the third single from his third album. And then there was X, came out in 1999. It peaked at 49 on the Billboard Hot 100. It ranked on 11 on the R&B hip hop list.
That's a great point, right? I've joked before the idea that you just made. This idea about it would be funny if there was a rebuttal song, right? Like in the way that TLC had a rebuttal song to their their single. In this case, it would be funny. It would be a one-word song and go, "How about just don't call us bitches?" Like
just
maybe
don't do that.
Maybe that we'll start there, and then we'll send you a correspondence going forward. But at the very least, maybe refer to us as human beings. How about that?
Anything. I mean, and they asked the question quite a lot. So I don't know if this was like a rhetorical question the whole time, because y'all know what we want.
Well, we talked about this in the first one, right? Like there's a number of DMX songs where he asks these sort of existential questions like, how is it going down? What do women want? Where is the hood at? You know, like he has a number of songs that are like pondering and wondering. And yet they seem fairly simple, right? Where is the hood at? Okay, so there's Google Maps.
Take a left.
Just tell me where you're going.
186th Street. Yeah.
How's it going down? Probably a little deeper. That one's a touch deeper.
You'd have to predict the future. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a little tougher. But given how he acted in the song, I could probably tell you how it's going to go down. And in this one,
safely.
What do women want? Pretty much none of these things.
The whole song is opposite of what women actually want. Like, from calling, like the song is what these bitches want. That's number one. We'll give it right there to you.
And to that point, this song should just be called like what I think women don't want. That's what it should be called. Or I don't care what women want. Here's my experience.
Yes.
Like,
or that.
Yeah.
Or that. Yeah, I mean the song is basically about songs. Oh, sorry, women from DMX's life. And he's giving him a shout out. Pretty publicly, like my name.
Before we get to that verse,
okay,
that's an all-timer. Did you like this song?
Yeah, I love this song. This was
its song still knocks. I mean, it
still does. It still does.
And the whole thing of it, just the beat is really great. So it does work, but it is an interesting song. I mean, at the very least, I think the nicest thing that you can say is like the lyrics are slightly misguided. Right? That's maybe the nicest way to describe it. I mean,
right.
I'm trying to think of like in this first verse, like what lyric. It's hard to even pick. You know, like where you start with this song. Like, do you have anything you'd say like, let's start here?
Okay. No, I don't, because I went straight to the listicle from his Black Book that got released, where he just was like, here's my Rolodex. Let me just.
No, I'm sorry. Then we have to go back. Okay. When
That's
he
fine.
says, the instant they start catching feelings, I start to steal their shit. Then I'm out like a thief in the night. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so it's one thing that you're just not a good guy, right? and you don't understand women at all, but now you're stealing from them. Like, it's not enough to have a zero sense of what they're interested in, but like the part where he actively says like, oh, no, I'm going to take your shit. Like, your shit is my shit now. It's mine. Yeah. It's like, it's not illegal to be a bad boyfriend is my point. You know what I mean? But like, a larceny is actually.
Oh, right. I mean, he was nice. Like even in that beginning where he's like, what these bitches want from, and then he's like, break them off a little something. Like, oh, well, thanks. But then I'm gonna steal from you later on. You won't know.
But just to really nail it home here for people, it's not just that he's going to steal things. It's that if you even remotely like him more than just in a sexual way, he will steal your stuff as a way to make you pay for that.
You're right.
Like he's not just saying like, hey, by the way, I'm going to steal your stuff if something bad happens, or if you tell on me or whatever. He's saying, if you in any way say you cuddle, if you call me to get lunch someday,
the instant they start.
Yes. Any feelings that are caught, your stuff is as good as mine. Sorry. Them's the breaks.
And he's out like a thief in the night.
Yeah. So I thought that lyric was pretty funny.
Yeah. And the fact that he, following that, come on, Ma, you know I got a wife. Like, now you're just straight up giving us all your deets. You are married. You still want to bang chicks, but I'm now going to steal from you. And I really don't want anything with you. Come on, Ma, you know I got a wife. And she's like, well, damn. What do I want? I can start to make a pretty lengthy list.
And without even getting into the lyrics, right? After the come on, Ma, you know I got a wife, he explains like, it doesn't matter how hot you are. Like, I'm not throwing this away. But then the irony is that he's not going to throw it away, but he's going to rap about it in a song that charts in the top 50 in the world. Like that, like, hey, I'm not going to throw this away or anything, but it's like when people go like, hey, just between us, when they're joking, when it's like clearly a lot of people, right? Like, I'm not going to throw away my life, except for the fact that I'm letting everyone know that I am not going to do that because of this. It's like, I
mean, who cares about monogamy?
No, well, and then as that last bit, again, it really sums up his thoughts on women. The last line of that verse is, let's see, where is it? You're at my door willing to confess that it's the best you ever test. Better than all the rest. I'm like, all right, girlfriend, hold up. I gave you what you gave me, boo. And then in parentheses, they undersay like a nut, I think. But like, just the idea that like his entire thought is like, so long as there at least one of us is achieving an orgasm, ideally two, but if one of us is, that's pretty much the entire exchange of goods and services here, is it not?
Yeah.
That's all that's needed.
Like
that's the DMX treaty on women. That's like,
I'd rather order on Amazon, you know, like something nice for myself, like a spa bath, or
perhaps this song is to explain why I know nothing about women. I've watched the Mel Gibson movie, and are there two more opposites, Mel Brooks and Mel Gibson? Why am I getting them confused?
Well, the name Mel isn't widely used, so
sure, but given the What Women Wants history,
and Mel B, you don't mix up Mel B, Spice Girls.
Given the Mel Gibson's history, it's odd to confuse him with a guy who is famously a Jewish comedian, but neither here nor there, I suppose. Anyway, all right, so you want to get into that second verse? That's the best one.
Well, I do, because it became a challenge. So in this song,
I heard what was this?
Yes, this song became super popular again in August of 2019. It was a DMX challenge, where basically it was like a new craze. Some teenage girls would edit this music video together as themselves, and then they would like basically change their clothes to be, as mentioned, Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Inez, Alicia. So they're basically like, oh, look, I can have all these different looks of different women, even though all these women were basically banging DMX while he had a wife.
Yes.
And was trying really hard not to catch feelings, because that would have gone poorly for them.
Yes.
It's just fascinating that this became a craze, like a trend, a DMX challenge. Like, poor guy, like, dead, and now like I've got all these like random teenage girls who are pretending to be girls
that I slept with. Yeah, very weird. Yeah, especially because the kind of girls that are doing it obviously are not. Yeah, 100% agreed.
Yes.
I have two favorite parts of that verse.
Okay. Yes.
First is because most of it is just a list. I think he lists.
It's the most impressive list.
Yeah,
ever that made up a verse, because all the by the way, all the names, they kind of go together. So he must have reworked them quite a bit.
I would have to hope so. I don't think it's done in chronological order. No, I don't think.
Well, there were 3 Kims.
Okay, so that's okay. 2 favorite parts. One is Cookie. Well, I met her in an ice cream parlor. Yes. None of the other women. I don't know where he gets his cookies. I don't normally buy cookies at the ice cream store. I get them either at the supermarket or the cookie store. So I thought it was weird that like her name should have been like Rocky Road or something. But at any rate, I like that he shouted out where she was from. And then About 3 Kims. I once named a fantasy basketball team name About 3 Kims. And I remember thinking like, one of my friend Kent got it. I mean, obviously he got it. I had talked to him about it. And he and I love this song. But in the same way that like a lot of DMX stuff is just like funny, but in a silly way. This isn't a silly song, but it's hard to take a verse like this serious. When he goes, when he goes Donna, Yolanda, Tawana, and Wanda, and then the cherry on top, and I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I wrote this.
They were all treated fairly, but yet and still, these women are on some other shit now that I'm messing with Dru Hill. Oh, now, again, a couple problems with this. One, no way they were treated fairly. You just said that you basically robbed them if they liked you. Okay, so that's false. I call shenanigans on part 1. Part 2, you're telling me that everything was good until you started doing songs with Dru Hill? No way. This song, you were very big at this point. Cisco and Dru Hill were too. Yeah. But they didn't just like, these women were like, I'm not sure how I feel about this guy. Oh, is that Nokia who produced this song? I changed my mind. Now I caught feelings. Not how it went down. How's it going down? That's not how it went down.
That's not how it went down. Yeah, the thing that stood out to me was that he had a Selena and a Sabrina, and I, as someone named Sarina, I was like, oh man, like my name is never in a list. I never get, like looking back, I'm like, yeah, thank God I was not in a list.
And if there ever was to be a song that your name would be listed in,
I'm in trouble.
No. What I mean is like if I had said to you, you had never heard the song, and I said there was a verse where 46 different women with names that are, let's just face it, there's not a lot of like Miriams and Barbaras in this list, right?
There is a Karen.
And there's a couple of Kims. I'm not. It's a mix. But like my point is, your name could come up. This isn't a Jack Johnson song, right? Like, I would say to you, and I said Selena, and what was the other one you said?
Sabrina.
And you would say, oh, for sure, my name's in here, right? Like you'd bet heavy action on Selena making it in, and it didn't.
High probability, absolutely. In fact, I think it's Marina, Selena, Katrina, Sabrina. How'd you miss me? To be quite honest, I'm a little offended.
I would be too. I would be offended if I was you too. Yeah.
Bro, like I'm a great catch. Okay. Like, I don't understand.
I think you're a mediocre catch. That's not the point though. I think you're mediocre at best, but I mean, again, to be clear, I would be below that. But totally whiffed. I mean, if there was a little, remember the Little Kim song in 50 Cent, Magic Stick?
Yes.
Right? If they're in that song, Little Kim had a verse where she just named 50 guys she hooked up with, and she was just like, I can't think of any names that rhyme with Scott, of course, but like, if she had a number of names that were dancing around Scott and it was very close to Scott, and then she didn't say Scott, I'd be a little bummed out.
Yeah. You're right. See, so I'm validated. Thank you for that.
You absolutely should feel validated, bummed out by that, for sure.
It's wild though, because yes, I think we get mad at Taylor Swift for calling out her exes in all of her songs, and nowhere.
It's a touch different. Okay, I know you're kidding, but like, no one ever pressed DMX on an interview and be like, "So those 3 Kims, you know."
What you got on them? Which ones were they?
Tell us about those 3 Kims, Earl. Like,
I mean, he went through he literally gave everyone's name.
I also love too, he's had sex with so many women.
And
that
had to
he doesn't
listen
even
to
know
them.
how many Kims he's had sex with.
I think about 3.
About 3. Like the notion that if you said to me, how many, and then insert a name, and how many of that name women have you slept with? I would know the answer to that question. I would not go, I don't know, about 4 Laurens. I would never say that. That would be like, it would be, you'd look at me like, what are you, nuts? No, it'd be about like 4
About
people in the total.
4.
Like,
Yeah.
who are
Like
you kidding?
4?
About 3 Kims. Yeah, about 3 Kims. The arrogance, the ego.
Yeah, I mean,
and it works because you know he's right. Like, you know that he really doesn't remember.
X gonna give it to you. That's what you do know. But yeah, the fact that repeatedly in this song, what they're at, both of them, the 2 guys are asking, what do these women want from me? Tell me what you want from me, baby. Tell me what you want. It is repeated from both of them. And I feel like the answer is so clear, and they just dance around it with this perfect verse with just women's names. Any of those women could have told you an answer.
And I also wonder too, because we do regard it as a perfect verse, as you said, like we love it now.
Yeah.
But I wonder if at the time when he did it, there was someone that was just like, this can't fly. We can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
because just put women's names and hope for the best. Like,
yeah. And some of them don't even sound like names. He says them so fast. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Meaning like, it's one of those things that I wonder what it was thought of at the time by actual critics of the genre, not fans like us, like people who, like a Rolling Stone article, I'm sure we could find, but I would imagine they didn't delve that deeply into this verse specifically. But I'd be curious to know, like, if real rap people were like, okay, that was stupid, or like you said, was it sort of
genius?
Sort of genius, yeah.
Is there any other song where they listed out a bunch of women?
Is it possible DMX invented the list? Had people never listed things before? Maybe he's the first person to list anything.
Like, right, because like,
I'm joking, of course. Yeah,
grocery lists.
Nobody had ever
eggs and potatoes.
Nobody knew. Nobody knew. They'd go to the store and then just guess. And then 1998 came around. Yeah, and he was just like, "Wait a minute, guys."
If you listed all those women and put in the foods that you needed from the supermarket, you'd probably remember what you needed.
Think about the efficiency, girl.
What these women want.
He learned that from one of the 3 or 4 Kims. About 3 Kims. My God.
About 3. As we wrap up, do you have any other final thoughts on this?
I mean, I just can't get over the about 3 Kims. Just imagine the notion of like I also think too, like if he had kids, right? Like, and he named them all Kim. He did have a bunch of kids, but like he had multiple daughters named Kim. And that's what he was referring to. Like, they were all treated fairly. How many daughters do you have? I don't know. About 3 Kims?
About 3.
Like 4, maybe 4 Kims? 5 Kims.
Considering how popular Kim Kardashian is these days, like, and the fact that their kids' names start with a K.
Yes.
I do think it's just, I don't know. That just pops out to me like about 3 Kims, or maybe it was a Chloe or
maybe it was a Courtney or a
one of the other K's.
Kevin.
What's a Kevin?
that would have been balls.
If he threw in a
male name,
but like a name that could be like a Renee, could go either way.
Renee has a tough either way. How about a Pat or something easier?
Charlie.
Renee, yeah. Ryan.
Renee can go, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Pat. Renee is like very specific.
I know a Renee man and I know a Renee woman.
Is that Renee man French?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Renee was a man's name.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I suppose anything could be anything really, but like Pat, Terry, these kind of.
Imagine if they were all gender neutral names.
If the entire verse was just gender neutral names, and DMX was the first like LGBTQ positive rapper who still, by the way, says the F word and all that shit all the time. Like, he still says offensive words, but the meaning is very positive. It's very positive.
You get like a hall pass.
Yeah, even though the terms he's using are totally out of date and incorrect and offensive, he was the first rapper to go there.
And just be ambiguous. You never know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They were all treated fairly. All those guys and girls were treated fairly.
And then he comes back, he's like, nah, they're all women, but I just wanted to, you know, do the right thing.
Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were. Who knows?
Oh, man. Well, that's it. That's another episode. That's what they said. Sarina&Scott Spinelli. To all of the Renees out there, we appreciate you.